Welcome to the Life with Joey Calvo Podcast. I am Joey Calvo. Please continue to help the victims of the Texas floods as well as the victims of the California wildfires. So today we have Bracha Goetz, and Bracha has written over 45 books. Just bear with me. And she is inspiring others to fill the emptiness inside too. So she has innovative thoughts and actionable tips to be provided and she is Harvard educated as well. So Bracha, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here with you.
Okay, so what got you started into wanting to be where you're at right now in reference to being an author?
Oh, I wanted to write the books that I wished I had as a child. Yeah, books that explain like the deepest stuff in a really simple and joyful way to children.
Okay, and so in reference to these books, um, explain a little bit more about in reference to the books. What type. I mean, I understand they're children's books, but I mean, like subject lines on what most of the books are about.
Yeah, okay, let me give you an example. What my newest book is The Happiness Box. And it's really, actually it was published many years ago, but it's coming out again now. Listen to this. This is what it's about. It's about a boy. He's never happy with anything he gets. And his parents get a washing machine one day, and he's like, I get nothing. So his father says, how about this box, the big box that the washing machine came in? He gets this idea. It's the happiness box. So he presents it to his son. He goes, this box is the happiness box. When you go inside this box, you can only think happy thoughts. So he's like, he's not used to doing that. He's not used to being grateful, but he goes inside the box and he starts practicing. Well, okay, what am I happy about? And he starts thinking about this and that, and he gets used to it. He develops a habit of gratitude. He keeps being grateful, and then one day he's miserable. He's away from his box and he's miserable, and he doesn't know, what am I going to do now? I don't have the box near with me. How am I going to get happy? And all of a sudden he realizes that box, I'll read it from the book. Here, wait. That box, I must have laughed right out loud the moment it was clear. The box was right there with me. There was no need to fear. The box is never far away. That box is here with me to stay. Do you know what? You've got one too. There's one for me and one for you. You're not too big. You're not too small. Step right up. Come one, come all. No one's too old to climb inside. Everyone needs this place to hide. Go right in and close the door. Think happy thoughts and nothing more. Next time you're sad, give it a try. Go get a twinkle in your eye. Where was my box? Can you guess where? Above my eyes, but below my hair. There's a happiness box in your head, you see. It's a happiness box if you let it be. But if it's hard to use your head, just get a cardboard box instead.
Okay, sorry. I've had a little rough morning, so I mean, I'm sorry if I almost dozed off just now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, I had a sleep doctor, and of all things, it was a sleep doctor appointment. And then after the sleep doctor appointment, I ran around and did a few errands real quick before I got back here for this. So, all right. So the happiness box is practically about this boy in this box and how the box changed his life a little bit. Have you thought about? And the reason why I asked this is, I asked this of some authors because I don't know if it would be within their genre to do. Have you thought about doing a children's superhero type book?
Let's see. The superpower that I write about in almost every single book I write is the power of gratitude.
Okay.
It's what changes, it can change anybody's life. And guess what? It's our whole purpose for being here on earth. And when we realize that, it changes our entire lives. So that's what I suffered from food addictions when
Okay.
I was younger, and
Okay.
that's what changed my life. So I'm working on spreading that everywhere.
Okay. Can you explain a little bit more about that? About that what happened in reference to that's leading you to now wanting to write books about it?
Yeah, sure. Like my memoir, the only book I wrote for adults is called Nourish the Soul, Filling the Emptiness Within. We all feel this emptiness and we try to fill it. We try desperately to fill it. And one of the most common ways to do that is by overeating. Because if we just keep stuffing our faces, then the pleasure will keep lasting. What we really want is lasting pleasure. So food brings us immediate pleasure. And if we just keep overeating it, then the pleasure will keep lasting. But that doesn't work so well. It's actually like a slow way to die. So, and it's the same with drugs and alcohol, gambling, whatever. We try desperately to fill the emptiness with external physical things, but it's not a physical hole. It feels like a physical hole because it hurts so much, the emptiness. And, it manifests in loneliness, anxiety, sadness, all these things that are very widespread nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
and feeling disconnected and alienated, alone, estranged. What we all really crave is connection, and we crave lasting pleasure in life. And
I actually just started to realize that over the past, well, it's been a while, but I mean, I've been realizing that I've been truly craving that because like when I go and you mentioned gambling and stuff, and I go to the casinos and stuff, um, you know, when I go places, I'm literally by myself, and you know, I wind up being bored because
yes,
I just wish somebody's there. And, also in reference to the slot machines, it's like the slot machines are my friends to a point,
yeah,
even though, you know, um, I'm feeding them, and then sometimes once in a while they'll feed me back. Um,
yes,
but in reference to it, it's like, I just go down there just to get away,
yes.
and but it's not the same as if someone's with me, and spending time with me that could get me away from that stuff. Because
Yes.
that's one thing I've been doing a lot of craving of, and I've been reaching out to people, and most of them, when they say, you know oh, I'm sorry, we can't come down because of this, or um yeah, I mean, I can understand people work during the day because most of the time that I go, it's like during the week, in reference to that. But in about it's like about that. Like if I was there on a Sunday, like it's a Sunday, come come unless it's football season, you know, or something, or something else. Come down, keep me company, because it makes me, like you said, it would have me feeling better if you know you're down there and say, hey Joe, you know let's go do this, or something other than slot machines,
Yes.
because I would be happy about that.
Yes.
Um, you know, and it's like I tell that to people now. It's like the reason why I'd rather have someone with me is so I can get away and not feel like I'm addicted to this stuff.
Yes.
You know,
Exactly.
you know,
I watched one of your other podcasts, so I know a little bit about you, and I really enjoyed listening to it. The one with Jen, and um,
yeah,
I
I noticed. I saw the comment.
yes,
Yeah.
so I wanted to share that with you because I feel like this hole, we try to fill it.
Hmm.
Everybody has it. It's meant to. We're meant to have it. And some people who are more sensitive feel it more than others. And there's an actual way to fill this hole. Although if nobody tells us, we don't know it. That's why I write children's books, to let children know from the beginning of life, so
Right.
they don't have to go through a lot of unnecessary pain like we've experienced.
Right.
So
Right.
so there's really, actually, on my website I have a chart of the pleasure ladder,
Okay.
which explains like the 5 levels of pleasure. The reason why we overeat or we gamble or do drugs or alcohol, it's because we think there's a scarcity of pleasure in our lives. We feel the scarcity really intensely.
Hmm.
So how can we open our eyes to see the abundance of pleasure that's already in our lives right now? That completely changes our lives. And not only that, it attracts more positive energy into our lives. But we have to make that step. And without knowing about it, there's no way to expect it of us. So I really hope this can change your life too. I mean this.
Okay.
It's like this. Let's say the bottom level of pleasure,
Yeah.
it's all the natural physical pleasures in this world,
Okay.
which is like eating healthy, like eating like here's an example, an orange. This, I love this example because just think about, here's just one tiny gift in our lives, an orange, a little humble orange. Like, it's all the fruit are green.
Yeah.
They're camouflaged in with the leaves until they're ready for us. And
Right.
when they become ready, they become the most beautiful color, the most vivid color. They're calling to us, we're ready. So then we get to see the beautiful colors. We smell how beautiful it is. And
Hmm.
then we take off the peel, which
Hmm.
keeps the sweet juiciness in for months. And
Hmm.
then when we experience it, we taste the pleasure. And then at the end, we're left with these seeds, which can become more trees and more oranges. It goes on infinitely. So
Hmm.
just packed into this one orange, if you have an orange, it was made for you with infinite love and infinite wisdom. And we just don't realize it. We take all these things for granted, but really this life, pretend that life itself deeply loves you every moment,
Yeah.
and it's working everything out in your favor. If you just even pretend that, if you don't believe it, your entire perspective of life changes.
Okay. Matter of fact, we started realizing that over the past week or two as well, that things are starting to be a little different, and realizing that there is some good um, in there. Um, so um, so you started to explain the 5 levels of the ladder. Can you explain
Yeah, let me
the
tell you
ladder?
more.
Yeah.
Sure. The lowest, it's 5 levels correspond to these 5 fingers, because
Hmm.
really, this lasting pleasure, it's within our hands. We think it's out there someplace, but it's in our hands. We can bring pleasure into our lives at any moment. So all these, the lowest level of pleasure are all the sensual pleasures that we can experience. So eating healthy foods, spending time in nature, um, any kind of exercise that you enjoy, whatever it is, swimming, yoga, dancing, gardening. I don't know. Is there a physical activity that you like to do?
Outside the slot machines,
Yeah.
no, because I don't. I mean, I live in Philadelphia, so it's like, row homes. So there's not much in reference to gardening. But I will say, last week I did take myself out to like Independence Hall, the Liberty Bell. So I have attempted to want to do different things, but again, I'm alone when I'm doing it.
Exactly.
And it doesn't. I mean, it solves it to a point, but
Exactly.
it doesn't fulfill.
Yes. You're looking
So,
for connection, and you're meant to have connection. Exactly.
yeah,
So here you can connect to an orange, but like you want a being, you want a person. Okay.
yeah.
So here we go. So, and music also is another like sensual pleasure we can enjoy. But like if we level of now love, it seems to be dependent on somebody else, but we can bring love into our lives at any moment by
Hmm.
thinking about somebody that once did a kindness for you, somebody that you appreciate. You suddenly get filled with this warm emotional feeling of love, of appreciation. What do you value about somebody else? Okay. And it doesn't have to do with longing. It doesn't have to do with longing to be with someone, because that makes us miserable, actually. But it has to do with somebody that actually already did a kindness for you in your life, and you are focused on appreciating that again. Okay. So when we do that, we can, even in prison, in solitary confinement, a person could think of a grandmother that once did a kindness for them and be inspired to feel better. To it it re-energizes who you really are. The immensely awesome, wonderful person that's the real you.
Hmm.
This is what it helps to do. And the next level up is when we do something good and meaningful. And that means like doing your podcast,
Hmm.
where you're doing your podcast to help other people too, and help yourself too. I mean, but all this helping other people helps you connect with other people, and that's really good. Doing
Hmm.
anything that brings kindness into the world. When we do that, we feel like we're giving back with gratitude that we can contribute. All of this, each level up brings more connection and more lasting pleasure. And the
Hmm.
level above that, oh, for instance, in that level, the middle level, I was on another show, and when I got to that level, the podcast host said he had bought a whole pie of pizza for himself. He was feeling miserable and lonely. He was sitting alone in his apartment eating the pizza. He had two slices, and he's about to plow through the whole box of pizza by himself.
Hmm.
His neighbor knocks on his door and needs his help, like to move furniture. When he comes back into his apartment, he filled up. He doesn't need the pizza anymore. What changed? In that little time period, he connected. He felt like he had something to give to somebody else, even if it was just moving some furniture, whatever.
Yeah.
And he put the pizza in the fridge for another day.
Yeah.
But the level above that is creativity. And
Okay.
that again is when you do your podcast. Like just just creating a podcast, you get into a zone when you're doing it, like you don't feel like eating or sleeping, like it's beyond time when you're in that creative zone. And then the highest level of all, it's because you're putting a unique part of yourself into the world, something you were created to do in this world. Like you have something to give to this world that nobody else has. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here right now. So
Right.
The highest level is called transcendence. It's when we recognize that really we are never ever alone. We are all connected. We're really all one soul. We're just put into separate bodies. And when we realize that, it just takes away a lot of that loneliness, and we can start to reconnect and just feel the joy of life again. So what I want to explore with you is how you can put this into action, like right this minute. Like,
Okay.
okay, like how can you, for instance, but I think, like for instance, you might not want to, like a gym could be expensive to join, but like there's certain areas in the park where they have like free yoga and walking groups and things like that, nature hiking,
Yeah.
where if you join those groups, you meet other people, you're connecting with nature, you do things like that. And like you meet people that are like similar to you that want to be reaching out and making more connection. And the other thing that comes up is the middle level, which is volunteering, like just helping other people that are way lonelier than you are. You might feel sometimes like you're the loneliest person in the world, but there's people lonelier, way lonelier. And
Oh
if
yeah.
yeah, and you can uplift them. And you're doing that with your podcast already, which is a great thing. But
Okay.
but this is something, the more you bring this into your life, like eating the foods that have tons of natural energy in them. Like there's the junk food that brings us down and gets us to overeat. It's designed to be addictive. So the more we can stay away from that and eat
Mhm.
like the nutritious stuff that reconnects us to life, to the vitality of life, and then we exercise with other people. You don't have to do it by yourself. Do things like joining a hiking group, or just meeting people in the park that are doing exercise, all things like that, and then volunteering. These are the ways from this chart that I think could really be more helpful. What do you
Okay.
think?
Uh, I started going back to church for the first time in
Wow.
18, no, seven, about 17 years.
Wow. Wow.
Um, and I've gone 2 weeks. And,
Wow.
actually, this week, when I went, there was a little bit of a quote unquote revelation in the first week. I went and I spoke to somebody at the church and explained something that I don't share on this podcast in reference to me. And then this past week, everybody was going up for communion and stuff, and I'm sitting back because I didn't feel like I'm ready yet.
Right.
I still building up. And someone actually came up to me and asked me if I was going up for communion,
Right.
and I was like, no, thank you, not at this time. But I was just amazed that someone would come up to me about it.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, so the barriers are slowly breaking down. In reference to it, it's you know and feeling the comfortableness. I mean, when I went to this church first time, not this past Sunday, but last Sunday, and the choir was practicing because I get it. As soon as the door opens, I'm like the first one in the door. So they're practicing, and as they're practicing, it's like I can feel the harmony going through me.
Wow.
Like you know, it was like I actually have been now calling church a therapy session,
Wow.
because not only because I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression in 2009, um, and everything that I've been attempting to work on to improve me to be a better person doesn't last.
Right.
Because usually if I'm happy, I'm only happy for like 24 hours and I'm right back
Right.
to wanting to be isolated and everybody, out of everybody's way. And, you know, like, you don't need, like, you guys really don't need me, you
Right.
know, like, so, but this week has been a little bit different. Um, like I said, in reference to um, church, and then I had some meetings in between that, and in those, because I have a GoFundMe page right now where I'm trying to raise money to make this podcast, where I want to take this podcast, upgrade the equipment that I use, plus expand it to a higher level. Like,
Right.
what I want to do um, is having former guests of the podcast, like like yourself, come down to like Atlantic City, and meeting, and like people coming up and buying your books, or getting your autograph, or asking you questions about your books, and so on, like a meet and greet type thing.
Right.
Because not only did I want to do that for in reference to the podcast, but I also want to do it for the community too, to
Right.
show, hey, this podcast can do something for your community, in reference to it, and then the other thing is, being I'm unemployed right now because I was let go at Amazon back in February, actually January 31st. I also have been working on how we talked about the gambling part, of establishing a casino bus service where buses will take you to the casinos. And, when you get to the casino, you get your slot play, you play for a couple hours, and then you get a ride back home,
Right.
So that's something else, because of the one company that used to do it just went out of business one day,
Uh-huh.
out of the blue, and I lost about $26 off of it.
Right.
So it just had me working on that. But I actually had been working on it really since 1999. But it started off as a taxi service in Jersey, because back then I was a taxi driver in New Jersey,
Oh, wow.
and I was making hand over fist in money. I was like, this is good. Maybe this is something I should do more, full time. So
Right.
but I ran into problems where the support I had, or I thought I would have, wasn't. And then wind up finding out that support, quote unquote, also cheated on me.
Oh, yeah.
So it ripped me apart at the same time.
Right.
So I mean, there's so much I've been attempting to do. And in reference to the gym, I did belong to a gym.
Yeah.
And I was working out, but what happened was, between the loss of the job and everything else that was happening health-wise, I wind up being diagnosed with diabetes in
Right.
November of 23.
Right.
And so the health issues started to come around,
Right.
and I also wind up with a meniscus tear in my right knee. And because of that, I was out of work for a little bit. And because I was out of work for a little bit, some of the absence time came back and bit me in the rear end on it.
Right. Right.
So that's another reason why, things are falling apart. But if your followers, and I apologize for, putting you on the spot of that. I mean, if your followers hear this and they're like, hey, maybe we can help him out and boost his spirits to where, he can make this podcast even better, or, or something else. And, or saying, oh, let's do this so we can have Bracha come down and do a meet and greet, and maybe we can meet her in person, and, et cetera, something that your followers might be of interest to. You
Yeah.
know, you know,
Yeah.
um,
And what did you ever think about being an Uber driver or no?
I can't
Oh,
because of something in the past.
okay.
I looked into that. Believe me, I
Yeah.
did. And right now,
Okay.
I don't have my driver's license, so I'm working on getting that back too.
Okay, great. Okay,
Yeah,
very
but
good.
yeah, but that's been a thought.
Yeah.
But because of something in the past
Yeah.
that happened, I can't
Right.
touch that.
Right.
Um, I mean, I even tried out for DoorDash, and I was going to go get a bike,
Oh,
and
wow. Well, that's
and because of back then, I couldn't do it.
right.
So, but I mean, this is going to be totally different because, like I said, I'm not even going to be behind the wheel of it.
Oh, I
So,
see.
yeah. So, I mean, this is something I can run and sometimes even be on one of the buses, just to get away for a day and go up and have some fun. So, in reference to reaching out to you, Bracha, how can people reach out to you?
Oh, yeah. That's my website. I put it up here. Growingimpactpublications.com. Is it backwards or is it
No,
forwards?
it's forwards. It's
Okay,
forwards.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, growingimpactpublications.com. It's run by my children, where
Okay.
you could find all my books and everything there. But
Okay.
yeah, the books are just helping children in every way, like prevention of abuse. That's one of the big things I focus on, helping children with disabilities. Um, yeah, eating healthy, exercising, explaining to children all this stuff. Because,
Hmm.
yeah, so I hope that, and I hope that also, I explain that every level of the pleasure ladder, the only price you have to pay to climb it is gratitude.
Okay.
If the more gratitude we let into our lives,
Hmm.
the more we can focus on all the good things, like all the parts of your body that are working, all
Yeah.
the diseases you don't have right now, the fact that you still want to help and reach out and help other people
Hmm.
as you're helping yourself to get better too.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I just had somebody on the podcast. I'm trying to look. 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. Yeah, 3 weeks ago, I had somebody on the podcast in reference to what you were saying about in reference to children and in reference to how to be safe and how they can in reference to who they can turn to in
Yeah.
reference to if they don't feel safe.
Yeah.
Um, so if you go back into the YouTube live streams, look for Sabrina Asso
Okay.
because she's the one I had on, and maybe you could even. I mean, if you decide you want to reach out to her, let me
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
because she has a program called Asso Safe, and she she like I said, she talked about how like I said, how where you can turn in reference to how where if you feel that you're not safe in your home or you're not feeling safe at school, no matter where you're
Right.
at, you're not feeling
Yes.
safe of who to turn to, or if you feel that your family is being abusive,
Yeah.
you know, um, you know who to turn around and find someone else that you can turn to in reference to it. And she's very good on that. She's also on Instagram and on Facebook. Um, and her last name is spelled Osso.
Okay, okay, I'm going to look it up. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
yeah, yeah.
And that's another reason also why people, turned away, let's say maybe from the Catholic Church or whatever, like when abuse was like rampant,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a real problem. And to help children, to help with the prevention of this is essential for living a life of gratitude. Really,
Yeah.
really important.
Yeah. And like I said, I have someone right now who has been a real support. And unfortunately, there are times I've been pushing this person away because of that the cheating, the hurt, the pain that I've gone through.
Yeah.
I just had that fear that, I don't want to. I actually turned around now and literally said, even to this person, I started to say I was an inconvenience. I actually started to feel like I was an inconvenience because I'm like, you all have your lives. You're all busy. I'm not going to bother you. I don't want to feel like an inconvenience. I don't want to feel like, I want you to drop everything, in your lives for me to do this, So I just gave up really asking people. But recently, in reference to like guests like you and Sabrina and even
Jen.
last Wednesday I had a guest on who really brought out some points for me to pick up as well.
Beautiful.
And her name is Miriam Ortiz Ipino. And then I just had one on Tuesday with Monica Tanner. They're all on the YouTube channel.
Yes.
So those people have been bringing out advice and stuff, and
beautiful.
I started to, look into and realizing, that there is some good left in me. It's just I got to bring it out.
Tons of it. Tons of good in you, and I understand why you can find misery too. Like, I have a book called "Don't Read This Book." It's about that voice, the inner critic that we all hear all day long, trying to make us miserable. And if I'm teaching this to children so they could be aware and recognize it and overpower that voice. The voice is saying all day long, you're missing this, you're lacking that. If you only had this, you'd be happy. All day long, it's trying to get us to focus on things we don't have. If we realize that, we can refocus, get our power back, and be grateful for all we do have. We have to really, really rewire our brains. It's what it is.
Well, that's what I learned the other day in reference to the. I found out about little Joey, and then I have to find out that I can't throw little Joey out on people like the one that's been the people that have been supporting me.
Yes.
That really support me, and I'm like, you know what? You guys have your lives. Don't let me interfere with it. So it was like I was throwing little Joey at them, like saying, "Go away." Like I was actually, I knew I was pushing people away because of the hurt and the pain that I went through, when I was younger.
Yes.
And some of those so-called friends were, not really my friends. They were just telling me what to do with my life without, they were like my ex-wife. They were trying to control my life.
Yes. So you are a really sensitive soul that really wants to experience life in a pleasurable life. You keep trying to find the light. You're not giving up.
Right.
Like what are the ways? Well, I just like right now you start going to church. That's awesome. Like maybe they have a study group there that you could join. And
I'm not rushing myself into that yet, only because in reference to messages and stuff, I'm a Joel Osteen fan, so I'll watch a Joel Osteen message or a Dr. Charles Stanley message, sermons. I'll watch that, like In Touch, Joel Osteen. if Joyce Meyer's on, I'll watch her because some of her messages are really good as well. So it's not like I haven't been fully out of church. It's just I didn't get myself physically back into a church setting.
Right, but you want to connect with real people. So,
Yeah.
like in a study group, like you'd be talking with other people, you'd both be like learning together. Like, all I mean is, it's great to do activities where it's not like in a bar where you're picking up somebody, but it's like you're volunteering together, or you're exercising together, or you're going on a hike together, or you're in a study group together. Like,
Yeah.
these are ways to connect and also be filling up on gratitude, like
Yeah.
like really enjoying the moments.
Yeah, like right now, I don't see myself doing that, only because, like I said, the health issues, and I mean, just going to church. And now, what I actually started in reference to trying to be a sociable person. uh you know how you mentioned the park. Well, right across from the church, there's this very famous park in Center City, Philadelphia, called Rittenhouse Square. So what I've been doing is, after church, what would be fellowship time, because most of the people are already out of the building by the time church is over, and the fellowship time starts. I'll turn around and I actually start to tell myself I don't want to go directly home yet.
Right.
So what I actually do now is I'll walk into the park and I'll sit on one of the benches, and I can sit there now. Well, with the exception of this Sunday because it rained on me. But I would sit down and I would just sit there for hours, just watching everybody. If they're not sitting in the benches themselves, reading books. I mean, I have my Bluetooth on, so I'm listening to music as I'm going through all that.
Nice.
Because I listen to smooth jazz and a mixture of smooth jazz. I have a mix of music, so I'll listen to that. But as I'm listening to it, I watch people go by, and sometimes if they're walking their dog, sometimes maybe one of the dogs might come up to me and and sniff me out and all that, and so I wind up having a little smile on my face for that, because there's that type of love also.
Yes, there is.
And that's what I'm realizing I want more.
Yeah.
It's not just the gratitude, it's the love itself, because of the hurt and the pain that I went through in the past. So what I want
to say is, gratitude is just appreciating. That's all it is. It's lingering, it's savoring any joyful moment. That's what gratitude is.
Right.
It's cherishing, and that's what you're doing.
Right.
That's how you're increasing gratitude in your life. Appreciating. Right. Exactly.
Right. And I will say to the one person, to the people that, like I said, that have been by my side through all this, I really wanted them to come down to see me, because I really just want to show my gratitude. I want to say thank you. I want to physically say, hey, I appreciate everything you've been doing for me, even though right now it's from a distance. But from a distance, I don't feel it all.
I know.
But like I said, and I say to them, I said, I wish you were here so I could do this, so I could be happy, so I could smile again, and
Yeah, I just want to say that's going into the needy part of you. The gratitude part of you is just appreciating them, just being happy with texting them or leaving them a message.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate this about you, and you don't need anything from them right this moment. No, you can go outside and be happy seeing all these people in the park, the dogs, the music, just
Mm-hmm.
appreciating that. When you take away that neediness from your life, because it creeps in every moment that we're being happy, that inner critic will say, no, but you're missing out on this. You're lonely, and this person doesn't want to be with you. It's trying to get us miserable every minute. So
Right.
it's like this. It's like a barbell. We
Mm-hmm.
have to, when we recognize that voice is there in everybody's brain, we push it away.
Right.
Every time we push away that inner critic trying to make us miserable, we grow our gratitude muscles. Every time we do it, it gets stronger,
Mm-hmm.
and the gratitude habit gets easier and easier. Every time we recognize it and push it away,
Yeah.
there's thoughts in our head trying to get us miserable all the time. First, you're thinking, oh, I really appreciate this person. They've been so kind to me. But why aren't they here with me? Why are they running away from me? Then it changes into misery in one
Mm-hmm.
second. So if we watch that happen, you go, oh my gosh, it's you again.
Yeah.
I am going to rewire my brain. The more you recognize it, the awareness
Yeah.
itself gives you back your power.
Yeah.
It gives you back your power to become a happier person.
Well, I can say at least with one of them, um, of those that are at a distance right now. I mean, I used to see one every day, um, but a health issue happened to them to the point where I barely see them. Like I'll see, like they'll see me for my birthday, and I'll be happy for that. And then this other one now that's been a little bit more supportive, um, knows that I would be happy if they came down to see me, because that is kind of an expectation I would have of a friend. Is even though you're at a distance right now, I'd like to see you at least once, so that way I can shut up inside my mind, not think about the neediness, being able to show the gratitude, and the appreciation, and then go back and let everything happen the way it will happen. It's like breaking the ice, kind of. That's what I would be happy to in reference to when it comes to seeing them in person. It's
Right.
breaking the ice, and then once the ice is broken, then okay, fine. If you don't want to see me after that, and just want to communicate that, text or email, I mean, fine. I got to see you. I'm happy enough.
Right.
You know?
But the main thing that really brings the lasting pleasure is looking out to see that there are people lonelier than you, in worse health shape than you, that you can actually uplift them. That brings more lasting pleasure. And they're there. Like you can even like volunteer, like on a suicide prevention line, getting phone calls. Who knows? I'm just thinking out
Yeah.
of the box,
No, I understand that. In reference to a suicide idea, yeah. As much
Okay.
as I do, and it's not that I don't want to do it. It's just that there are sometimes I have those mood swings.
I know.
Well,
I understand. I totally
yeah,
get it.
yeah,
I'm just saying,
yeah.
focus always on that. You have what to give. Like, I know it's hard because in childhood you may have gotten messages putting you down or feeling
Yep.
alone and stuff like that. But it's so clear that you're a person that is constantly fighting for the light. You
Yeah.
so want that, and you're achieving it little by
Yeah.
little.
Yeah.
You're transforming as an adult. It's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yep. And some people are starting to see it and are appreciating it. And like I said, it's just like as I'm doing this, I would like come see me so I can say thank you at least. you know, just to,
Yep.
just to do that at least,
I know, but that's all, that's part of the longing. If I
Yeah.
only just saw them, then everything would be good. But it's not. It's really focusing on developing gratitude for what you already have right now.
Yeah.
Just everything in your life. There's an infinite amount of things that you could be grateful for right now in your life.
Oh yeah. I
It's
mean, like
amazing.
I'm grateful to these people. I am
Yes.
grateful to them.
Yes.
But like like I said, even though I'm gonna keep coming up with excuses to wanting to see them. You know, like I say, it's just I just want to see them just to thank them. I
Yeah.
just want to, like I said, once I say thank you about it, then like I said, all cards can fall the way they will. In reference to going back to being a distance and being, and the gratitude being that way.
Yeah,
You
well,
know,
you can always thank them, but they may not be able to come, so you can be happy anyway. You
yeah.
can,
Oh,
oh, you can,
yeah,
and don't give away your power. You have the power in you. You can do it. You can be grateful for so much. So,
yeah,
um, okay. I'll give you a blessing that that any moment that we spend being grateful is a moment we're not miserable.
yeah,
Each moment counts.
yeah.
And there's a saying, what's the difference between a happy life and a miserable one?
It comes down to a smile.
Yeah, it's it. How grateful you are.
And yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I mean, like I said,
Exactly.
I'm grateful to these people, but and again, I'm throwing the butt in because,
But
like I
get
said,
rid of the butt. Get
yeah.
rid of that butt. Okay.
I mean, that's the hardest. It's just like I said. Like it's just. I just want to get rid of that. I want to get rid of that loneliness, even if it's temporary.
Yes.
That's why I keep longing in you know, in person.
And you can do it. There's other people. There's billions of people in this world.
Yeah,
Don't make it. I know you have that focus. It's understandable. We have parents. There's a focus on these certain people in our lives. It's totally understandable. But you could take your power back. They all, like they say, they're living in you rent free,
yeah.
but you could take your power back and recognize that you're in this incredible garden. This world's an incredible garden for
Hmm.
you to explore, and you're here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, in reference to it, I'm feeling it. I mean, like I said, when I went to the sleep doctor was what? How can I say it this way? The sleep doctor was actually amazed with me this morning. She told me, I said, we're going to get to a point now where I'm only going to see you once a year. I said, okay. But what even surprised me is the nurse that came in to do my vitals. I was like, wow, and I was like, complimented her up and down, in every which way, and keeping that smile on her face. As I was keeping that smile on her face, it was like I was feeling good. And then all of a sudden, she takes my blood pressure, and she says, "Oh, your blood pressure is like 113 over whatever. It's normal." And she said, "Your pulse rate's 76." I said, "Wait a minute, what was this?" And the machine's right in front of me, and I'm looking, and it says 76 for a pulse rate. And I was like, I'm always over 100. And so when the sleep doctor came in, I was like, you might want to check the notes that the nurse just put in. And she's like, why? I said, just look at the notes. So I made her look at the notes, And she's like, yeah, the last time you came in, your pulse rate was like 113, and today it's 76. She's like, you're more relaxed now.
Wow.
And I was like, I said, don't be surprised if your nurse is not here next week, because like this nurse was just like, wow, it was, and of course my sleep doctor was laughing just like you did when I said that about, and she's like, well, why is my nurse not going to be here next week? I said, she'll be in Resorts Atlantic City with me.
Oh. Oh.
I was saying it because like it was just, I just couldn't believe myself.
Yeah, just be focused on that. You're a person that can make people smile. Don't try to keep refocusing not on what you're missing right now, but on what you have, on all the abilities that you have. And it's not easy, but you're going in a great direction.
Yeah, I do. And the one person that's been the real support of this podcast and has been the number one fan of this podcast has been the real rock to me. And it's a distance, and that person knows. And
that's the lady that comes up with the questions, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. Now, remember how okay. All right. Now, please understand what I'm about to do in reference to that. Okay? Because in reference to it, just bear with me one moment. Now, see, I don't edit these things. I just go off a conversation form and we go from there.
Yeah.
And everything. And so the one that comes up with the questions, and you've seen this picture a lot.
Oh yeah.
So let me just bear with me one moment, because and see, because of that, I've actually had guests that were uncomfortable because I brought this up in reference to it, because sometimes normally I really don't have questions. I really just, like I said, I do everything in a conversation form. Nothing is scripted.
Right.
I don't have a script out.
That's great. Yeah.
And so, in reference to this, just bear with me one moment.
I just want to say that if you can watch every time that your mind starts going to, oh, if I only had this, I'd be happy. Just notice it and start laughing every time that happens. It's gonna really brighten up your days. So, and then you won't be focused so much on what's missing, and you'll see that you'll create an energy that will draw more and more joyful experiences into your life.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You don't need the picture. I've seen her beautiful picture, and I'm sure she's a wonderful person that helps you, but oh, there she is.
Yeah. Yes. So,
there she is.
Yes.
Very great person.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, this is American Fox, by the way. This is the one that comes up with the questions.
Yes.
And she is on Instagram. She's on Twitter.
Wonderful.
And it's in the video description.
Yes.
In reference to it. So please follow her, because
that's great.
Yeah, and even let her know, even tell her, like what you're saying to me. Tell her, because if she hears this, then she's like,
Wait, what is her name again?
American Fox.
American Fox. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go now, but I can't tell you. I've enjoyed being with you
Yes,
so much.
Thank you so much. And I definitely, you're welcome to come back on this podcast anytime.
Thank you.
New, just like I said, email me. We'll make it happen.
I love it. And I want to see what evolves the next time I meet you. How are you going to be doing?
Okay,
and telling me about more and more gratitude. Let it pour in the joy, just by being grateful for what you have. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. And thank you so much, everyone, for watching the Life with Joey Calvo podcast. God bless you all.